What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 24. Wow.
You've done a lot of these.
24. This is crazy. So we have, obviously, I'm your main host, Coach YoYo. We have our co-host, Coach Nik, as well. And we also have, Colton. He's in the background as well. You can't see him in the camera. But today's special guest is Carol. And the fact that you are on here, we want you to kind of share your journey with us. What was your journey before you meet us at an Unfinished Lifestyle, and what it's like during your journey, and then what is your advice for the people that are wanting to start or finding someone that can help them to better themselves in physical or mental or emotional or optimizing the hormones as well. Yep. Yeah. So Carol, how are you?
I'm nervous.
Yeah, I know. That's okay. Every one of our clients usually gets nervous, but when it comes down to talking about your journey, and you'll get into it. So, question: we all know that you've lost how many pounds?
76 pounds.
76 pounds. 76 pounds. That's a
whole kid.
That's a sixth grade.
That's a child.
You're missing 76 pounds. And how young are you today?
54. I will be 55 December 21st.
And you're able to lose 76 pounds with us at Unfinished Lifestyle. So let's get into your journey. Let's talk about, introduction of who you are as a person and why did you start your journey and what made you start your journey.
Okay. Well, I am a stay-at-home mom of 4 kids, and I love to ride, and we go camping. We'd go camping all the time, hiking the slot canyons, pack trips, and stuff like that. And it just got it was really hard for me to do those things. Yeah. And it was, we go camping. It was so hard to get up out of bed to go pee in the night, And it got I was like, honey, could you help me go to the bathroom out in the wilds, and that was the day I'm like, this is really sad. Yeah. Right? I have to do something different. And when we'd be hiking, the kids always had to wait for me. And I just didn't go a lot of the time.
So you stopped going for a little while?
I stopped going. Or if I did go, it was hard and embarrassing.
Yeah. And when you say camping, you don't do, ladies and gentlemen, she doesn't do normal camping on a camper or anything like that, or find a spot to camp. She rides horses. You ride your horse into whatever you guys are, mountains, whatever you want to call it, and then you find a spot to camp. That's your idea.
That is one of them. But if we don't go with horses, we still we don't go where there's bathrooms or showers or anything like that, because my husband and kids, they really like to shoot. Yeah. And they just don't let you do that in a campground. Yeah. So
Of course.
Yeah. So camping entails hauling your own water and going to the bathroom by a tree. So
How was it trying to get on and off of the horses?
Oh, it was so bad. I remember we went to Kings Peak, and I had to have a rock just to get on the horse. Wow. And to get off, you have all your stuff piled behind you on the saddle, and my husband had to hold the horse, and I finally swung my leg up over the horn rather than the back. Okay. Because I just couldn't get my leg up there, and I couldn't get off. And anyway, so it was kind of the pits, because once I was stuck on till somebody helped me get off. So
yeah, and you needed help to get on the horse too. Yeah.
I find a rock. I needed at least 12-inch help.
Yeah.
Something. Jeez.
So what was your heaviest?
The heaviest I weighed was 240 pounds.
Whoa. How tall are you?
5'9".
5'9", 240. But when you met me, you were at 227. Yes. So what did you do before that?
Well, like I said, I got really upset with how I was and not being able to enjoy stuff with my family. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to do something about this. I can do it. So I started exercising. My daughter would get me up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and we would exercise. We'd do, 80-day fitness or something like that with Beachbody. And So I remember sometimes it was so bad, I would just roll over and roll back because I didn't feel good, you know, and I was so weak. And I'm like, well, I'm going to do something. So when you were supposed to be doing up on your hands, you know, and like rolling to the side and stuff, I was like, yep. This morning, the best I can do is roll over and roll back.
Yeah.
And like, you know, the leg bends and stuff like that. Obviously, I couldn't bend very far before I just couldn't hold it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to bend however far I can. And so I started doing that, and she did that with me for about a year. And I got, I did get in better shape, and I had really gotten to a point where I really couldn't even ride. And I got to a point where I could ride, and I went to a show and won a belt buckle. So that was really cool. But I was still, no matter after that year of exercising, I was still 235 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this doesn't work. There's gotta be something better.
Yeah, and that's hard too, because riding a horse. I mean, obviously we talked to Des a lot about this, where you use a lot of muscle while riding a horse, and it really matters what weight you have on top of that horse.
It does.
It really does.
That was one of the scary things about going for pack trips and trail rides, is I knew I didn't have the same balance and strength that I once did. So if the horse stumbles, you know, or goes down and I need to roll off and out of the way, I knew I couldn't. And so that just made it a lot scarier to ride in the mountains. I did it anyway because I didn't want to be left behind. But
but would you say it's dangerous at that point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was dangerous because, you know, like I say, the horse could have gone down and landed on me. I wouldn't have been agile enough to get out of the way.
I don't think about that.
So
How did you
I was
feel?
taking a chance, a big chance.
Yeah.
How did you feel emotionally when it got to the point where you couldn't ride? You know, for that short period of time, and then the hikes with the husband and the kids, and you're like, sorry guys, I can't go.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know,
Well, that's, you know, I really kind of reached a point where I was pretty depressed, and I took long naps. Didn't do, you know, just getting up and doing the bare basics of the day was like doing pretty good. Yes, and I cried a lot. I cried so much that I finally decided I don't have to have a reason to cry.
There you go.
Because it sucks to make up all those stories.
Yes, no, it does.
May I ask what made you be emotional? What was the thought process?
Well, that's the thing. I you know, it was all kinds of things. It was my husband. It was my weight. It was how people think about me and treat me. And
you can't ride.
How I look, yes, and I can't do what I love, kind of a thing. Just everything and anything. That's why I said I have lots of stories. I made up lots of stories. My husband doesn't like me. I never do enough for him. Maybe I'm too much for him.
You were self-sabotaging.
Yes.
Yeah, self-sabotaging, or you were your own victim in your own reality sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was just a big. I was a big fat victim. That's the truth.
So that's what made you very emotional at that point. That you couldn't do anything, you couldn't spend time with your families the way you wanted to, and you thought your husband, you know, doesn't like you for some reason, and so it's really you're the one that created that.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
I did.
Because you don't feel good, and at that point you were 235. You said.
Yeah.
235, 240.
And so how did you get from that to 227?
I started drinking the protein drinks that you didn't like.
Wait. What are these protein drinks?
We're gonna talk about that in a second.
So I started drinking those more. What else did I do?
Did you just keep working out with your daughter in the mornings?
And well, my daughter went to Texas.
Oh,
so no. Yep, so I didn't do that. But it was really only in the last probably 4 or 5 months before I came to you that I got to 227. I was basically 235. So, and I don't know. I think maybe I went to Mexico to fix my diarrhea because I like had diarrhea all the time for 15 years.
For 15 years.
15 years.
Yeah, she told me about that.
15 years?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and I guess that was really the next step. Once exercise, it really didn't quite cut it, you know. I'm like, well, that's just it. I have got to fix this digestion issue or there's no way. So So yeah, I went to Mexico 3 different times over a year's time, and
Three,
they helped me
three
out a
different
lot.
time? And what did they do there, to be exact?
I got stem cells. We did blood work so we could see if anything was going on. And basically, they said, you have adrenal fatigue. They said, there's nothing wrong with you, but there is something wrong with you, right? I was like, and they said that I had adrenal fatigue. And we did stem cells. And when they do stem cells, they do all kinds of IVs and things to just clean your body out really well. So so we did that. And also, any place that hurt, they would do HRT. Not HRT. What is it?
The PRP?
Yeah, the PRP.
The
Yeah,
platelet replacement stuff.
Do platelet stuff in like my hip that was really giving me problems, which is one of the reasons I couldn't get my leg up over. But and knee and different things like that. So yeah.
So you had the PRP.
Yep, stem cells, PRP. Oh, I came back from there feeling amazing. I rode with my husband to Arizona, and I stayed awake for the entire trip except for like a 40-minute nap, both ways. And I didn't even have to fight doing it, right? Like before that, anytime I go someplace with my husband, I just sleep the whole time.
Yeah. And what about now?
Oh, yeah, now I can stay awake.
Now you can actually stay awake.
Yes.
So when you came back from Mexico, did it resolve the digestive issues, or did you still have residual?
I still had some.
After,
Yes,
okay.
I still did have some problems, but it was a lot better.
Good.
Like, I actually had solid bowel movements, you know?
Yeah.
It's like
to
amazing.
Yeah.
100% TMI, but a lot of people don't needs to hear this side, right? Even though how ugly it is, it's fact, it's real, and something that you've been dealing with for 15 years.
Yeah.
You had diarrhea for 15 years.
It's funny how many people I run into that actually do put up with that in their life.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we've
There's a lot of
had
people
clients
that
like that.
do.
I've had clients who
They just don't know what to do about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've had clients that, maybe a month or a month and a half into the journey, they text me and like, dude, this is my first solid movement, and I don't even know how long.
And for the listeners that are listening to this right now, just so you guys know, I did not do anything special to Carol.
No gut health
I did not
protocol,
give
nothing.
no gut protocol, no
Low FODMAP.
low FODMAP, and none of that. We simply stick to a simple, healthy diet. That's it. I mean, she still was eating carbs. She was eating loads amount of fats. I think your highest caloric intake was what, 2200?
Between 21 and 22.
Yeah, and as we increase her calories, by the way, you've kept on losing more weight.
So far.
Yeah, and that's been incredible to see. And I knew at that point, she's not insulin resistant, and we just ran with it. But that did not initially fix your digestive. It took almost a year. Finally, you said to me, I think this summer, you said
It's probably like between 6 and 8 months.
yeah, 6 to 8. Yeah, between 6 to 8 months.
Like, I'd no longer have any of that.
Yeah, no more diarrhea.
Except for if I eat off plan
Of
sometimes.
course.
Sometimes then I will.
It happens to all of us.
So really quick, let's take a step back. So you, in 4 to 5 months, you went from like 235 to about 227, and then you met Johan. How did, I don't even think I know the story. How did you connect with him? How did you find him?
Well, I do breakthrough work for a Crohn Foundation.
That's
and one of
right.
my clients was named John Malley, and he had worked with
I remember John.
Coach Show.
Yeah.
So in the process of doing breakthrough work with him, occasionally we did talk about my health issues because, he was really into that. Anyways, and finally he sent me a book, and I'm like, I just can't follow that diet. He's all, you need somebody who knows what they're doing. And next thing I know, Coach L calls me up and says, hey.
Yeah.
So John gave me a pretty solid push.
Yeah, which is
in
good.
Coach O's direction. So, which it's the best money I ever spent.
Yep.
Of course.
I mean,
than
of
spending
course,
it on medical
it
bills.
seemed skeptical at first.
Yeah.
As always, right? I mean, a lot of our clients know this when they're listening to this conversation. They all were skeptical sitting in the office, but the fact that they see results and the fact that they know personally in the people that they they have in their lives that change completely. Not
I think
just
it's
physically.
natural for people to have skepticism around stuff like this, right? Because you can go on your computer and try to look up, how do I lose weight? You're going to see 1,000 different results. Maybe you had a conversation with your family doctor about it, and they were telling you, you need to cut out junk food, you need to do this, you need to do that, but there was zero guidance.
Oh, yeah, in Mexico.
Yeah,
They told me. But they also told me, you can only hope to lose 10 to 15 pounds.
Yeah.
because
so they're already
you're
putting a
menopausal.
limitation on yourself. And yeah, because you're menopausal. Well, you're menopausal, so there's hormonal changes, but there still should be a way that we can help. And so we get people who they do come in, they are very skeptical of what we do, and we don't want you to just follow blindly, right? Like blind leading the blind, we can't do that. This is what we do. This is how it works. Ask questions along the way, which I'm sure you asked him plenty of questions so you understood. And now, here you are, 76 pounds down, stomach issues resolved. You feel good. You look phenomenal.
Thank you.
You can ride horses. On the Zoom calls, you're in the barn. You're working. You're throwing hay everywhere. You're doing all this stuff. I mean, did you ever imagine back when you were at your lowest?
Ever get that back?
Yeah.
I didn't think I could.
So what does it mean to you now? Being able to just like get up, you go outside and you are working. Do you ever take that step back and think, oh my God?
And when was the last time you were at this weight?
Oh, the last time I was at this weight was when I got married.
Wow.
Which would have been 27 years ago.
Whoa.
So, yeah, a long time.
That's amazing.
And I do think about it quite a bit because, you can still forget and feel fat again, even though you're 75 pounds down. At least I can. And so whenever there's little reminders, I'm like, oh yeah, thank goodness that I'm where I'm at now, and that I'm healthy, and that I'm happy. So, and I did start out my journey just saying healthy, happy, happy. I'm like, that's what I want. That's what I want. I don't want to be crazy, depressed, and asleep all the time.
Yeah. Okay, so to kind of recap your life, pretty much you've been active your whole life.
Yes.
You live in a place where you have to clean the stalls, you ride horses, you train horses and all that stuff. Very, very active lifestyle, which is great. But being at 240, it's not easy being there. And then you went down to 227, and then you met me after that. And we've been working for almost a year. September 26th would be your full year with me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's coming up soon. So happy 1 year anniversary with Unfinished Lifestyle. But the thing that I want to let people know, before I took her as a client, I asked what was her diet. So let's talk about that protein shake.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Let's do this.
Yeah, I want to know what this is.
Let's get all the stuff out before we go into your journey. But what was that shake? Do you know the company name? I mean, again, there's nothing wrong with this company.
No.
Yes.
Or anything.
Well, I didn't look that up. I've already forgotten.
No, it's okay. So what
But
what is it?
I don't know, but they said it was like a full meal replacement, and it's the only time I ever had drank protein drinks that I stayed full and felt full for any amount of time. So that's about all I know.
Yeah.
So it's just a meal replacement
Health Code.
shake.
That's what it was. Health Code.
Health Code. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I just remembered.
Meal replacement shake.
So let's talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the idea behind the meal replacement. Anytime you think of something that you want to substitute, for example, the biggest thing that people do, protein shakes and protein bars.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they're bad, but they're good to have snacks in between your meals, or maybe you're out and about. You can't find anything out, anything or any restaurants that you can do. You fine meal replacement. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you do that every single day, because remember, it's liquid calories, so your enzymes doesn't have to work to break down the food, the nutrients. So even though you're still kind of sort of getting the same nutrients, but your body's not digesting it, so it's not really working in your favor. And I think I remember I was looking at the macros of the meal replacement. Dude, it was like 20-30 grams of fat.
Yeah.
In one sitting.
I mean, for the average individual, just meaning you don't really have health issues, right? You're just looking for a weight loss solution. I would not recommend the meal replacement shakes. It's just not ideal. But for someone who does have a health condition, like with cancer patients, they're really, really good. It's a good way to get in protein. It's a good way to get in fat, keep their carbs low, because we know the sugar is what cancer feeds off of. So in that case, yes. But you lost some weight. It's simply just because you weren't eating. You're just drinking high protein, high fat.
I sometimes wonder if that's what caused my problems in the first place, because
The digestive
when
problems?
I started with the diarrhea, there was another protein shake, and I just lived off of it for a while, and that's when it started.
There could have been a gum or a filler or something in there that your body just did not like, that kept stressing out the microbiota. Yeah. It could have been
that, but I feel like it was something to do with that protein drink.
Yeah.
How many of those were you having a day?
3. Yeah.
3.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Yeah.
And that's it?
Literally.
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you feel?
Did you lose any weight from that, by the way?
You what?
Did you lose any weight from that?
Yeah, I did lose some, but then it kind of just evened out. It didn't go anywhere.
But the biggest thing too, what you learn is, let's say if it does work, so then the only way that you can lose weight or lose fat is drinking
a protein shake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the problem that we're
a
running
big
into.
problem.
Yeah.
Because food is really kind of fun to eat.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A little bit. So, okay. So, you're having 3 of those, and then John connected you to Johan. You got your first meal plan. What was going through your head when he told you need to eat actual food, and I need to feed you more food in order to get you to lose more weight?
Good question.
Oh, yeah. I was like, this is a lot of food. This is a lot of work.
Yeah. Jeb, was there any doubt in your mind? You're like, he's telling me I need to eat
More?
not just food, but more food to lose more fat? Like,
Yeah, well,
did I just get scammed?
That probably wasn't as rough for me as it is for some people, because I tend more towards bulimic than anorexic tendencies.
Okay.
Right. So
That's a good point.
that was like, like I would binge on sweets big time. Those nugget chocolate things.
Yep.
I could eat a whole family size bag of those.
I remember you and I had a conversation about
yes,
sweets.
I can eat amazing capacity of sugar.
What about now? Where are you at with it now?
Oh, no, I think I still have some candy kisses from last Christmas in my drawer.
Wow.
So I still do have a sweet tooth, but I'm very careful about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, more self-control around it now.
Yes.
So now that we get to know you a little bit more, so the listeners know you kind of like your background, why you're here with us, and how you get here. So let's talk about your journey. The journey that I want to talk about to start with is like what Nik said. How did it feel when I tried to feed you more food, or I did feed you more food, consuming up to 2,200 calories, mind you, continuing to lose weight? I had to record her weight, because normally I don't check in with my in-person clients every week. I have to do it every other week. But she's losing so fast. Every single week, you would lose 1 to 2 pounds a week, sometimes 3 pounds a week. This is me increasing her calories.
Yeah.
Losing and losing that much weight. And then it took us a while to really cut. Like, we didn't really cut until probably
the end of December, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, the end of December or even January. But even then, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, the amount of caloric intake that she was actually consuming while on a cut, mind you, was 1,800 calories. She never went below 1,800 calories, right? And the reason why I want to say this right now is because she's 54 years old, 5'9", was sitting at 227 to 240.
And this was post-menopause, correct? Or were you still going through menopause when you started?
I was still I was going through it.
Okay.
I don't know. Somewhere in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about menopause. I should have known a lot more. That's what I discovered.
But that's just a good thing to show, because I have a client who, she's premenopausal. We are blood work back, and I was like, let's talk to someone to just confirm. But one thing that I run into a lot is for, when women are going through menopause, their doctors tell them, you're going to gain weight, your body's going to go through changes, and, it's inevitable. Well, it doesn't have to be this. There's biological processes that will happen to cause you to gain weight. But you were dropping upwards of 3 pounds a week, eating more food while in menopause. So, I mean, you can do it. I don't care what these doctors say. There's a way to do it.
We won't talk about that.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that.
That's another conversation. But so your journey, when you first started, I fed you more food. And I remember you and I were having a conversation about, wow, it's a lot of food. And then a couple of weeks goes by, and then you said, I'm hungry. You remember that?
How did you feel when you woke up? You're like, wait, I'm hungry. And he's like, here's more food.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. I'm like, I like this plan.
You get to eat.
This is a doable plan. That's what I thought.
Yeah, and mind you, I'd never really changed your meal plan. I just fed you more or less food. Because I asked her, I'm like, hey, do you want me to change breakfast, your lunch, your dinner? She goes, nope.
Keep it the same.
I'm like,
I'm happy.
But sometimes it's nice to keep things simple and you know like
Yeah.
that. Where if you're constantly changing what you're eating for lunch, and now you have to go get new groceries and do all that. Where if you can get away with it, just keep the same things, and we just increase or decrease the quantity of what it is you're eating. Yeah. It's just one less thing you have to worry about.
Yeah.
Right.
I posted this on social media the other day. It's not so much of what you really eat, because people always talk about junk food, fast foods, or whatever being bad. No. Fast foods are not bad for you. I'm going to tell you this right now. Fast foods are not bad for you. Over consuming those types of things, that's when it gets dangerous, right? So then if you go to the other side of the spectrum, a lot of people talk about, oh, I eat healthy all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's really count how much you're actually eating, right? Let's track it and see where you're at. I guarantee you're consuming way more fats and way more carbs.
Just because you're eating a salad doesn't mean it's healthy.
Exactly.
When you're not tracking how much dressing you're putting on there. Or if you're caking that thing full of cheese.
Exactly. So it's kind of like if just because they're eating healthy, it's like all you can eat buffet.
Healthy.
Yeah, that's calories is still calories. So just so you guys know,
Healthy. Yeah.
Calories are still calories. It adds up at the end of the day, whether it's junk food or healthy or both combined.
Yeah, somebody asked me, they were like, which is the best kind of lettuce to eat? You know, because I'd started to lose weight and they could see that I was really losing weight. And they're
The
like,
best kind of
so
lettuce?
which is the
What did
best
you
kind of
just
lettuce to eat? And I looked at him and I said,
Like
I don't know.
the green
I
kind?
don't eat
Like-
lettuce.
I almost choked on my water. That was,
oh my
like,
goodness.
someone
I
actually
don't eat that.
someone actually asked you what lettuce you ate.
Which was the healthiest lettuce to eat?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, I don't know. I don't eat that.
Oh my gosh.
And that's the thing. It was
Wait, what?
way easier than I ever thought to lose the weight. You had me eating so much food that I couldn't afford to eat other stuff, or I wouldn't be able to get it all down. So that was really a nice change from, okay, I got to starve myself to be, be thin.
I'm sure it tasted a lot better than those shakes.
Yes.
Eating actually. So really give the listeners a little bit of an example. Like what the meal plan he gave you, what were you eating?
I had 2 pieces of toast, a turkey bacon, egg, and half a cup of egg whites for breakfast.
Nice. What about like dinner? What did you have for dinner?
That was a teriyaki chicken bowl. So that had 4 ounces of meat.
Okay.
And we did get up to a full cup of rice with that. So that
Probably-
was a lot to eat.
Probably will be more.
It took up the whole plate. My sister-in-law said, how can you eat all that?
Yeah,
Like,
you don't
oh,
even want to know
a
how
bit
much
of
rice
time.
he has me eating.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I have 4 meals.
That's a lot, yeah.
4 meals with
Really?
rice a day at 2 cups.
Yeah.
Each.
So I'm eating about 8 cups of rice a day.
Yeah, I'll have 3 or 4 meals per day, a cup and a half of rice, and each of them I'm eating 4 eggs with egg whites, and there's a lot of food. I'm at 3,000 calories, so
Right.
quite a bit more.
And how much money you guys really save, or for you too, Carol? How much money? Because you live by yourself now.
Yeah, when I was eating out, I would spend, you got to average it out. Anywhere. McDonald's, Costa Vida, it's all about $10 to $15 per meal. Sometimes I'd eat out twice a day, so let's just average it out $30 a day for 7 days. 3, 6, 9, 12. That's $120 for 4 days in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, pushing $200 a week in food, like just to eat out. That's, if I'm eating out twice a day, which I didn't, but just for math's sake.
That's not even including the weekend.
Yeah. And then now I have about 3 to 4 meals a day. It depends, because sometimes I'll want to eat less meals if I'm busy, but the meals will have more food. Like I just, distribute it evenly. Sometimes it's 4 if I work that day, 4. But I can go buy a pack of chicken breasts for like $20. Usually when I get groceries 1.5 times. I know that doesn't make sense, but like 1.5 times per week. And that probably puts me at like less than $100 per week to eat all day for 4 days.
And 4, 5, 6
Yeah,
meals a day?
so I'm saving over $100 per week, because if you eat out every day, twice a day, it's about $200, and I'm spending maybe like $120 per
So
week.
you're spending 50% less.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
Did that happen to you and your family? Because I know you're the only one that's doing the program, but what does that dynamic look like?
So I don't know the bottom line on the money. I just bought the food and ate it.
Just didn't pay attention.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't pay attention.
That's
I'm
okay.
like, I don't
No,
care.
that's
Do you
fine.
find yourself
I'm just gonna eat
enjoying
whatever.
eating out more? I've noticed that, like when I don't eat out, and then because some days it'll just hit me. Like I'll even bring a meal to work, and out of nowhere I'll be like, man, could really go for a taco today, or like a burrito, and I'll go across the street and get one, and it's so good. It's way better. It tastes better when I only eat it every once in a while than when I eat it.
Eat it all
Yeah.
the time.
Like once, twice a week. Yeah.
Well, I think I'd have to go back and look at the video, but my client Heather, she was saying that at one point her and her husband were spending about $1,800 a month on DoorDash
Oh, wow.
for
Yeah.
fast food. $1,800 a month,
Wow.
which is ridiculous. And it's like, and we've talked about it, eating clean.
That's more than rent at my apartment.
yeah.
My rent is $1,500. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about
So
what
think
my
of-
that's
yeah,
about what
think
my
about
rent
that.
is at my house.
Yeah,
that I have
$1,500
right
for
here.
rent. So
Yeah.
they're paying $1,800. They could have
month
a
in DoorDash.
whole other
They got a whole
property
house.
to live in.
Yeah.
that they could
I never
rent
thought
to
about
someone.
that.
Which when people say eating healthy is expensive. Well, maybe at the beginning when you're first getting the items, yes, you're going to have to fork up a little bit of a chunk of change there. But like what Colton said, if you go to Costco and get a package of, chicken, they have the 6-pack of chicken breasts. There's 6 individual packages, and each package has like 3 or 4 breasts in it. You get like 2 of those, throw it in the freezer. That's going to last you, for the majority of our clients, probably a month. You can just pull it out and defrost it. If we give you rice, just go get the big 20, 30-pound bags at Costco.
Cheap.
It's cheap. That's going to last you a while. You can go buy the egg white, in bulk. You can buy eggs, obviously, in bulk, right? So, yes, at the beginning, you're going to be spending a little bit more to eat clean. Yeah. But then, like what Colton said, he's going 1.5 times. So the half time is just going to get the little individual items, which might be like, what, $20, $30? That half time when you have to go get it.
If I buy rice, that's the initial cost, but that'll last me like a month. I buy about a month, and I eat like oatmeal for breakfast sometimes. So it's like I'll get that, but that'll last me a month. And then that half time is like I'll go, but it's $20 or $30 because I'm like, I'm out of bananas or I'm out of strawberries for my shake.
So eating
and
healthy
things,
doesn't have to be expensive.
But the best part about having a meal plan, though, regardless of the pay and stuff like that, is that nothing goes to waste. Like, how many times have you been like, oh, I'm going to buy this and put it in the fridge because on Wednesday night we're going to have spaghetti or something, and then you don't eat it, and then whatever you buy goes bad. Yeah, nothing goes bad. It looks like I'm starving because like everything in my pantry is empty, but that's just because I only buy the food that I eat.
Correct.
Right? Because then it's like I don't need to buy
my fridge.
other stuff.
My fridge is always empty. People come over to my house. I open my fridge. Bro, you have nothing in here. I'm like, well, that's because I
ate it.
We ate all the food.
My fridge, you open it, and it's like, it's my wife's shelf, my brother-in-law's shelf, and they have all this food, and then mine's the very bottom, and it's just like container of rice, a container of chicken.
Yeah.
And that is it.
It's simple.
That's it.
That's simple.
I like it. I do enjoy the simplicity. And also just knowing what your next thing is going to be that you're going to eat really helps me to not derail off to some other thing. I'm like, I see that and I'm like, oh yeah, but I got to eat. I got this to eat and I like it. And I'm going to do that.
Exactly.
And also I am a lot more discerning about what I will go off plan for, like we'll go someplace and the kids are like, well, are you going to eat your food or are you going to eat with us? And I'm like, oh, I don't like that food. I'm going to eat my food.
Yeah.
And
let's talk about
I really want to eat.
Yeah. So let's talk
I
about
won't do
the family dynamic, if it's changed or at all. So how did your family feel or thoughts of you doing this program at the beginning of your journey?
Yeah. At first, I think they thought, what? I mean, they were happy that I was trying to do something, but they're like, what is she doing? And I think there was questions in their mind. Yeah, is she really going to stick with this? And just stuff like that. So,
that's normal.
They were not unsupportive and negative, but they weren't necessarily, gung-ho about it until they started to see the results that came from it. And then they started to get really excited. And by now, I have at least 2 of my daughters that are like, I want to work with Coach Yo.
Yep. That's good.
And that they're like, oh, I feel so much better when I eat the things that you are learning to eat.
Their body type is a little bit different though, right? So, I mean, their plan would be different. Yeah. So,
yes, for sure.
Now that they see the result, what do they say to you now? What do they think of you now?
They tell me often how proud they are of me. And, it was so fun the other day because my one daughter in Texas, she was having a really hard time. She works for ran cow horse trainer. She's trying to learn how to, you know, be like $1 million horse trainer. So it's tough. It's hard, right? And she called me up and she's like, Mom, how did you do it? How did you change? It's also her first time kind of living on her own. She's like, how did you do it? How did you change? And so then that was that moment where I could say, well, it's a lot about focus and belief. So
Love that.
And we talked a lot about leading with example, right? And
Yes.
and I think that was one of our, actually we have it filmed, our original video, and this was back when you were over 200 pounds at that point, and I still have that video. We're gonna do
really?
another. Yeah, I still have it. We're gonna do another one from that. But I remember when we had the conversation about you wanting to create the change for yourself first, so then your kids can follow. You remember that?
yes, yes. And now I have seen that start to come to fruition. You know, it seems that they're all trying harder to make
do
the
something.
changes in their life that they need to make.
Yeah.
And so that really makes me happy.
Yeah, that's good.
And I can be an advice for them, you know, because now I've actually proved it, you
That
know,
it works.
been there and
Yeah.
done that. So, you know, when they were younger, I thought, okay, I've got to just forget about me and do everything for them to have opportunities and to do stuff.
Yep.
And what I've learned is that I need to take care of myself, because that in turn helps them to do better.
Yes.
And, you know, taking care of myself increases my capacity to inspire and help
Exactly.
them.
Yeah.
Ooh, ladies and
what I-
gentlemen, did you
dropped the mic on
Did you
that.
hear this? Woo!
I love that though, because
Yeah.
that's exactly it. A lot of people, and now that I have my baby, she's almost 5 months old. I started to fall into that a little bit, where it's like, yeah, you know, I need to eat, but I need to go take care of Mila really quick. I'm gonna do that, and then I just need to go to bed because when she wakes up, I need to be ready to get her. But if we don't take care of ourselves, how do we expect to be able to take care of our family?
Yeah.
How do you expect to be able to be that support system, that inspiration, you know, for them to be able to be there when times get tough? And so I understand, yes, being a parent, you do have to sacrifice some things, but your health and well-being should never be one of the things you sacrifice for your
Yeah,
children.
I
That should
agree.
be the motivating
And
factor.
your brain, you know, your mind,
Yeah.
because that's the thing. I realized that over the years I didn't take care of my thoughts, and I didn't take care of me. I didn't make me important.
So it wasn't
and
just the
I
physical part, it
became-
was the mental and emotional.
Yes, it was all of it. And so I became a wreck, the wreck we talked about, you know. And so I finally one day had to say, no, it's time to take
Time to
care of
change.
myself, because I can see where this leads 20 years down the road.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go there.
So when you were going through the journey and you were in the middle of it with Johan, eating the meal plan, you're doing the exercising, I'm sure there were days you woke up and you're just like, okay, I got to go eat. But that motivation it wasn't as strong as it was when you first started. What kept you going? Was it remembering that you wanted to be that inspiration for your kids, or what was that driving factor to say, I don't feel like eating my food today, but I'm going to do it and I'm not going to give up?
That is a very good question. I think so this may sound selfish, but I think that probably my biggest motivation was I don't want to go back there where I had gotten myself to. I never ever ever want to go back there again. And that means I've got to move forward. That means I've got to keep going, and I've got to, you know, and I want to be able to enjoy life, and I can't if I don't do this.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your kids would think that, oh my gosh, my mom is
Selfish.
Selfish and self-centered.
no, not that my mom is back.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you get to do trips with them now, riding horses, doing all the physical stuff because you're able to.
Yeah, that you know, I could definitely feel the disdain from some of my kids. Somewhat, they loved me, but they also did not respect me.
Yeah.
But I
Wow.
can feel the respect and
Okay.
admiration now from them. And yeah, also they've actually, I don't think they've ever quite seen this version of me.
Really?
Because again, I was this when
You're
I got
right.
married.
You're right. You're
Right.
right. And let's talk about parenting really quick, right? So I mean, obviously, all of us here are parents except for Colton, but we have to we have to recognize that when you don't show up for yourself, you cannot show up for your family. And because of what we do for a living, we see this. When you walk outside of the house or anywhere you go, you see the family that are overweight. Usually starts with the parents, and then the little kids are overweight, also. And my thought process there is, look, if you love who you are, I think that's great. I think that's awesome. But I think for me, it's like I do feel terrible, or I feel bad in a way when I see those types of parents if they are overweight, because when shit hits the wall and things has to happen, they're not able to do the necessary things that they need to do physically to get to where they should be as far as safety goes, whatever the situation may be. I feel really, really bad for the kids, right? Because how can you have a role model if your parents are not where they need to be physically?
Yeah. I just worry about health issues.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I want everyone to just be happy. And, if you're happy in your skin and you love the way you look, then I love that for you. And I want you to continue that. Right. I just get concerned when it's, like I said, the whole family is starting to get to that point, because we know the more body fat you have, not that it will, but it can lead to health issues. Chronic inflammation is very dangerous, like what we've talked about. It can lead. It's essentially a wound that never heals in the body. Yeah. Right? And that chronic inflammation can produce certain white blood cells. It can cause other certain white blood cells to die in adipose tissue, and that can lead to cancers. It can lead to chronic disease and infections and these things. And so I just get concerned seeing that. But it's just more proof that in the States, we don't teach proper nutrition. Doctors are not equipped to teach proper nutrition. The health classes we take in public school and high school and all that, it's a joke. Yep. These teachers aren't equipped to teach. They're just teaching the curriculum that they're handled, regardless if they want to teach it or not. So there's so much mystery and just unknown behind what proper nutrition is.
Yeah, and how it can affect you, because that is one of the biggest things that, like, I take away from it. Do you know how many people now they'll recount to me, oh, my knee hurts, oh, I have a hard time moving, oh, so they're like, it's almost like I can't go on a health journey because I got all these problems.
Exactly.
Well, guess what? I had those too. I found out they went away if I ate healthy and exercised.
No more inflammation.
Yes,
no more knee pain.
Do you? I was like, well, that's why you should do it.
Do you find yourself being a little bit less?
With that.
Yeah, do you find yourself being less sympathetic with these individuals when they come to you and, for lack of a better term, they just complain about their issues rather than trying to fix it?
Yeah, I may be less sympathetic, but I'm quiet about it. I just say, oh, that is sad.
Oh. In your head, you're like, come on.
And I'm just like, but I know you can actually fix that.
Yeah.
It's like one person, it's kind of the same thing, like they had arthritis, and it was getting worse and worse. And, and they're like, and I'm like, oh, well, why don't you do something about that? Oh, there's nothing you can do about that. Like, oh yeah, there is.
There is.
So during this journey, right? Because I remember, and I know the answer to this, but I want you to explain. How many times did you vacation?
Twice, major vacations.
Major.
Yes,
I'm talking.
major,
You were gone for a week.
Whole week. Yeah. Actually, the one was like 2 weeks, but I kind of modified and did get back on plan for the second week. But I still had raspberry shakes. Absolutely. So the rule,
which that's better than saying, oh, I just ate a whole pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The rule of for my clients when they go on vacation is very, very simple. Like I said before, I want you to eat intuitively. I want you to have fun, and I want you to enjoy those foods, but just don't overconsume it. And you did very, very well. In fact, you ended up losing weight every time she goes on vacation. Most of our clients, actually, congrats to them.
They lose or their weight stays the same, which is phenomenal.
If your weight stays the same, great. If you manage to lose weight, because remember, when you're on vacation, we're always out and about. Like, we're never just sitting around. Sometimes we do.
Sometimes.
But most of the time, people want to go hiking, and they want to do this, and want to do that. Well, get your steps in. Cool. Eat intuitively throughout your day. Don't. And I never once said, hey, you cannot have a cheat meal, or you cannot eat whatever you want. I never said that. I literally said, eat whatever you please, just don't overeat. Yeah. Eat intuitively. Maybe focus on higher protein, and then get your steps. Go hiking. Go do stuff. You'll be fine.
And I was, and it was so amazing.
Yeah. Yep.
That's one of the things that I love is that I could do that and still be fine. This is maintainable kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Good stuff.
Well, and we always talk about, you can also bring your food with you if you choose when you're traveling. I have a client right now who's in Colorado to see Green Day. And I was talking to him on Wednesday, and he said that he's going with his older brother, and he knows his brother's going to want him to go out to one of the bars, get some food, have a beer. So he's like, am I allowed to do that? I'm like, well, first off, I'm not your parent. We can't tell you what you can and can't do. We can only advise you, right? So I told him, like, if you want to have something while you're out there, you're on vacation, you're with your brother, go have fun. Just bear in mind, because you're eating as clean as you are, and you might have ran into this the times where you did eat off plan, you might end up not feeling too good. So it might ruin the trip a little bit, right? So I'm like, just be cautious with what you eat. You know what you're going to feel fine eating, what you're not going to feel fine eating. But then I told him, like, also one thing to pay attention to is bring your food with you so you have something to eat, and look at how expensive it is when you go out to eat. And the second we started talking about that, that right there was his reason to say, I'm not going to eat with my brother when we go out. Maybe one meal, but he packed all of his stuff. When they got to the Airbnb, he was going to just DoorDash all of his groceries. You end up saving a bunch of money that way. And do you really want to be sick your entire vacation because you ate something greasy off plan and now your stomach hurts?
On day one?
Day one, yeah.
We've had clients. We've had clients.
Yeah. How was vacation? It was miserable. I was sick for 4 days because I ate something.
My back started to hurt the end of my 2-week vacation. And when we went to the movie at the end of it, and when I went to get up from the movie, my knees, they wouldn't work very good. I had to wait to walk off, and I'm like, oh, that's how
the
it
food
used to
affects
be.
it. Yeah.
You live like that for a very long time.
And just accepted that was the new normal.
No, I just walk off. And I walk. I don't have to use the same leg to go down each step.
You can just
do that.
go
They
normal.
use the same leg to go down each step because the other one
got
doesn't
one
work
leg
that
at a
good.
time like that. Yeah.
I don't have to do that. I can alternate just fine.
And you started to notice the knee and the back pain when you had eaten off plan for a few days consistently. See, it can hit you that quick. But I bet people, like we said, people just accept that's the new normal. But it doesn't have to be
that's the
normal.
way it is. That's because I'm aging.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's not because you're aging.
No.
It's because you aren't taking care of yourself.
Exactly.
Let's talk about your activity level. So tell everybody what exactly you did for your exercise.
I walked, and then I did
on the treadmill or outside.
Oh yeah, I walked on the treadmill, especially starting out because it was softer and gentler on my joints, and I also had Hoka shoes that were puffy,
Yeah.
So so I walked there, and then I could hold on to the railing. I know I wasn't supposed to, but I did to start with, and also it would make me keep a certain pace, which I needed to begin with. Now my body, wants to do that pace because it's practiced it so much. But to begin with, I needed the treadmill to make sure I kept up a pace.
Yeah. So you did I remember when we first talked, I said, we want to make it simple. I don't want to make it complicated. She doesn't have any gym membership, by the way, at the time. I know you probably do now, maybe.
I'm going to get one on Monday.
Okay. And so all we did was, our main focus was nutrition, drinking a gallon of water a day, walk every day. So I think I started 30 minutes of walking, and then we moved to 40. We eventually moved to an hour or so. I think when we get deep into cut, I think you were doing about an hour or so. But there's no equipment. You didn't do any. The only time
I have some dumbbell things that I bought at Walmart because I would do the shoulder presses, the push-ups, and the sit-ups.
Oh, that's right. So I did have our homework. So the homework was, what was it, 100 shoulder press?
Actually, 50 is all you've ever told me.
Oh, yeah, 50 shoulder press and then 50 push-ups or something like that. So something minor. Like, she's not lifting any, but on top of you walking, you're also active with cleaning the stalls, riding the horses,
I got to
training
feed
horses.
twice a day now the kids left.
Yeah, you have to feed twice a day. So just so you guys know, ladies and gentlemen, she has a very active lifestyle, which is so different than a lot of our clients. Actually, you're probably one or two, besides Shannon, are the
Shannon
only
is tough.
the only clients that are,
active.
because you guys sort of basically live kind of like in a farm area away. And by the way, tell people where you live and how far you drive to come and see me once a week.
I live down in San Pete County by Fountain Green. It takes me an hour and a half to get here.
An hour and a half.
It's crazy.
Once a week, and then an hour and a half back. We have clients.
Yeah, I have a client. She drives 3 hours every Wednesday.
Yes.
She lives an hour and a half south of you.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
I can't remember where, but yeah, she
Yeah,
somewhere
like
down there.
that.
So on Wednesdays, she drives
impressive.
up. She leaves her house, I think, at 9 in the morning to get to the gym by noon.
Yep.
No, 9:30ish, and then when she's done, she drives another 3 hours back. So 7 hours devoted
It's-
in one day just to come up and work out. You're
It's
devoting
crazy.
4.
It's crazy
know?
to think that we have clients would rather drive 2 to 3 hours or even fly into Utah to come and train with us, right? And that's how big we're getting. And we have people bitch about, oh, you're too far. Where do you live? Oh, I live in Sandy.
Well, yeah, we moved
They
in when we
just
switched gyms. Like,
don't
you guys are too
want
far
it
west.
bad
Come on, bro.
It's like, what do you mean too far?
That is the
It takes me
biggest-
half an hour every day to drive to work.
That's the biggest
do
excuse
what you gotta do.
I've ever, and that's okay. If you think this is too far, you don't want to come and drive and see us, that's fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's your loss. It's okay.
That, when I first started coming, I thought, oh, this is a long ways. I'm going to do this every week, and I kind of started to think negatively about that. And then I just said, no, if it's a goal I really want, I've always been told it will show up in your calendar and your checkbook. And I'm like, that's all it is.
Yeah.
It's just showing up in my calendar and my checkbook.
Exactly.
So,
And now is the drive now almost like therapeutic? You get in
Yeah.
the car, you can just listen to some music, an audiobook, you drive, you work out, you relax, drive home.
actually, it's kind of nice to get out of the county once a week.
I'm sure.
Yeah. How many minutes away from you from like even a grocery store or a gym or
Yeah, 20 to 30 minutes.
wow. I'm bitching about not having.
I
Yeah,
know.
I'm bitching about not having a grocery store right here.
I know there's a Harmon's 5 minutes from me, and I'd rather just
Yeah.
order it online.
Yep. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. We first got married, we lived out on a ranch, and it was an hour and a half to town.
Whoa.
And we went back to shoeing school, and we talked to these people. They have a fast food place, and they were absolutely blown away that we only shopped once a week, and we never ate out.
Wow.
Well, you
Yeah,
kind of
like,
couldn't
how do
even
you
if you
do
wanted
that?
to. Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing
You
around.
literally live in the
Yeah.
middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
like.
yeah, we did. We lived really.
So
in the
you
middle of
like
nowhere.
living out in just quiet, out of the
To be
the major
honest,
cities,
seems
Yes.
just
very
away
peaceful.
from people.
That's
Yes.
very peaceful.
I love it. Right now, it's so fun to go out and feed the horses when the sun is just going down.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a beautiful.
I'm
time
sure
of
it's pretty
day.
just.
We need to
Yeah.
make
around,
our
but
we need to make our way up there.
go down there.
Like
yeah.
for real, I've been telling her that I want
Yeah,
to
I
bring
wondered
my
if you
son.
forgot about
Mhm.
that.
I know. We just been.
I know.
The
Oh,
weather
crazy.
will only be good for so much longer.
I
Yep.
know.
Or, hear me out, Unfinished Lifestyle Ranch. We'll get some horses, and then we'll have like a gym, dude. Imagine
I
having like a
like
ranch
it.
instead of a gym.
Shoulder
some
pressing
goats
hay
and
barrels.
stuff. Yeah, dude.
yeah. Yep.
That's a good idea, bro.
Y'all too much.
Yeah,
of
That- no, that's
I
a good
like
idea.
it. I'll help
Are
you
you-
with
Imagine
that.
Yo with a cowboy hat on.
Oh, you don't have to imagine
Yeah,
it.
dude.
I've seen it.
Yeah, yeah.
I miss those.
Some
I miss Cowboy
Wranglers,
Yo.
dude.
I used to be a cowboy, ladies
Some
and
Yeah.
gentlemen.
Wranglers.
Yeah, y'all don't even know Cowboy Yo. That was
Shanghai noon over here.
John Wayne.
yeah. But yeah, that's really cool to see your. Honestly, I look back at our videos all the time, and in fact, when you walked up to my house before the podcast, and I said, "Who is that?" Oh my gosh, it's Carol, because I've never seen you wear jeans, you know what I mean, or a nice t-shirt. Obviously, when you gym, you don't wear those stuff, but it's interesting.
Or my hair curled, huh?
And and
Compliments
you
my
gotta look
daughter.
good. You gotta look. You gotta look good.
You look amazing. Like it's
Thank you.
it just I honestly thought it was been longer than a year, but in less than a year you've dropped 76 pounds. Right, which that can seem a little bit excessive, but we do it in such a sustainable way that we're not rapid weight loss, we're not sacrificing muscle tissue, we're not sacrificing quality of life. Quality of life is improving as you're losing the weight, and that's how it should be.
And you never ate below 1,800 calories
Oh,
and
just
you-
on low days.
on low days.
On
Yeah,
low days,
yeah,
okay.
oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
On low days, I get it. So let's talk about the highs and the lowest part of this journey.
Boy.
Let's start with the lowest part. What was your
Like the biggest struggle.
the biggest? Yeah. What was your,
Well,
And you may not have one.
Yeah.
my hardest struggle with doing it all, or
Just everything, whether it's the physical side, the
well,
mental, emotional.
we talked about Well, I you know what? I did work hard on the thought processes. But not that hard, because I'm just like, I tried to talk about my food in ways that would be harmonious, like, oh, this food is going to make me feel good. I love what it does for my body, and I'm like, it tastes really good. I could eat this every day. I would talk about my food that way. And especially, if I started to say, I don't know if I want to eat this again.
Yeah.
Then I'd be like, okay, so how do I need to really think about this so that I can do it? So I would just get on top of those. And sometimes when I wouldn't lose weight, that would be tough. But that's where, meeting with Coach Yo, and he's like, nope, it's okay. Just keep on going. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And so then I would just focus again on what do I want? I want to be slim, fit, and healthy. And it's happening no matter what, right? So I wouldn't let myself spend a lot of time in questioning, am I ever going to get there?
No, but it's amazing that you can do that, though, that you would have, for just, it seems like a brief moment, for lack of a better term, a negative thought. And then you'd catch yourself and say, no, I'm going to self-correct. I'm going to speak positively about this. I'm going to just refocus and move forward. Not a lot of people can do that. The second those negative thoughts come in, it consumes them.
Yeah,
and then they just spiral.
And become who they are.
Yeah.
So I think it helps that I do breakthrough coaching with people, because I help people all day do that with their thoughts. And I think that's actually been a big help for me.
Well, you're practicing what you're preaching. You're telling them to do it this way.
This is what I tell people to do, so this is what I'm going to do, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And that's cool, because I know she's in that space. I never have to check in with you on your mental state, ever, not once. I never ask you how, where's your emotional, what kind of emotional days that you feel. I never ask you about your mental. All I ask about your physical, your cardio, your meals, right? Things like that. I don't have to worry about that. Most of my clients, I do that.
Yeah.
That's because they really do need help with, a lot of different aspects of the journey, but I don't have to do that with you. So it makes my job so much easier. Like every week that you lost weight, and I'm just like, here we go, Carol's losing weight again. And I'm looking at the calories, and right now it's increasing, right?
Yeah.
So we are at 1 year of our journey. The whole year was just simply walking, being active, focus on your food, sleep, no more diarrhea, all that fun stuff. So all of that is now manageable. You've lost 76 pounds. Now, our goal, ladies and gentlemen, is to have you get a membership in the gym.
I'm going to do that on Monday.
Yep. Nice.
And then we're going to start, I've been teaching you how to utilize machines.
Yeah.
So dumbbell presses, shoulder presses, leg presses. So there's a lot of different movement that I'm teaching her in the gym
to just
now.
get comfortable.
Yeah. So because now we're focused on increasing calories, but we want to increase your weight purely
Through
by
muscle mass.
Mass. You could grow a half a pound a month.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yep.
That's enough, because for about a year, average human being usually gain 3 to 5 pounds of muscle every year.
Yeah, but where muscle's denser than fat, it's going to take up less space. You're going to look, the more you get, you're just going to look leaner.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right.
Oh, I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Although I won't lie, it is going to take a little bit of mental work to enjoy the gym.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the challenge.
But this is why we love doing the in-person coaching, because there's a lot of coaches out there. We have a lot of friends who do it, and they want to do online coaching. It's a lot more convenient, especially for family. You can stay at home, you can watch the kids, you don't have to pay for a babysitter, which I understand, now having the baby. But the in-person training, we get to see you every week, so we can celebrate those wins. We get to spend time with you. We just, we can build that, that friendship, that relationship. But we can also help you to learn how to use the machines to overcome the gym intimidation. So when you do get the membership and you can go by yourself, you don't have to worry. You can just walk in. You're like, oh, I'm familiar with this. I know how to do it. You have your plan. You walk in, get it done. You walk out.
Yep.
That's for anyone who's wanting to find a coach. I would highly recommend finding an in-person coach, simply for that reason, if any, is that you're one, accountability, because you have to see him every week. So
it definitely is a big help.
So you're, I got to make sure I'm eating my food, right?
I don't think it would be the same online.
Yeah, but we can help you to learn how to navigate the gym, because that's one of the scariest parts of this, is going to the gym, people think it's full of meatheads and all these, weird gym people, which sometimes it is. You're going to run into that. But that's 1% of the 1% of the population in the gym.
Yeah.
Everyone else in there is having the same thoughts that you're having. They don't want to be there. Are people looking at me? Do I look weird? Do I look funny? If you go in, you get comfortable, you learn the machines, you can go in and get your stuff done. It's going to raise your confidence. And we've had clients who that helps them to go approach other people in the gym to help them get comfortable.
Yeah.
We want to build that type of community in the gym.
Yeah.
Cool. I like it.
And you referred couple of people to us.
Yeah. Shannon and Hannah.
Sherry.
And Sherry. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, she's doing good. I was going to say, I do think that probably one of the toughest things for me and the lowest part was binge eating. I still did binge eat a couple of times.
Yeah.
And that was hard to get over that, sugar binge eating thing. But, I got busy with the mindset thing, and I'm like, well, does this get me where I want to go? I'm like, no, that actually does not work out well. So I've just got to quit doing that. I have to be honest and accountable with myself.
Yes.
I came up with this little saying, and that is, because I used to eat a lot, nobody will know. And I say, no, I'll know. God will know, and my body will know if I eat that. So
Exactly.
Now we'll know.
Oh yeah, Coach.
And Coach
I
will
will know. Yeah, because
we'll
you can't tell me.
Nope.
I can't hide it from you for
can't.
long.
No, because eventually we learn where you hold the stress and the inflammation.
Yep.
So when you send check-ins, we'll look at it and we're like, "Oh, what did you eat?"
math-
And I'm like, "Hey, did you eat something off? No, I promise I ate fine." We're like, "I love you. This is a safe place. I can see that you're bloated. Just tell me." And then you're, "Oh, okay, I had Taco Bell." And you're like, "Okay, that's fine."
When
Like,
the
just be
math,
honest.
when the math is not mathing,
Yeah, when it's not adding
You
up,
just
we
got
know.
to-
I'm
you
like,
just, you
we
got
know.
to be honest.
How do you view the sugary treats and the candy now, right? I mean, you're a year into the journey, 76 pounds down. Obviously, you've worked a lot on just that self-control to not have it. So when you do see the candy at home, you see, the Hershey Kisses you still have from last year's Christmas, do you still view it the same as you did before starting this, like giving it that same value, or do you just see it as literally a piece of candy?
Yeah, I would say it's more like a piece of candy, because the thing is I was sugar binging for a lot of emotional reasons, and I have worked on taking care of those, in other ways. I've worked on taking care of my relationship, with my husband, both the intimate and talking, kind of a thing, and I've just faced that. I guess one of the things that has been hugely helpful for me that I really like is I used to always go at it like, oh, if I were only slim, then I'd be okay. Then I'd be happy. Then, I'd have value. People would love me, and I'd love me, right? I really couldn't change and start on this journey until I decided, no, my body has the potential right now to be that slim, healthy version. Yeah. It's got it right now.
Yeah.
I can love myself now and act as if that's what I am.
Yes.
And so I already had the value, already had the potential, I already had it within me. All I was doing was the things I needed to bring it out.
Exactly.
And so that felt so much better because you could literally get here to 151 pounds and still not feel like it was enough.
No.
Right? You couldn't. So you had to start with value and mine for the potential that you want.
Exactly. And now you see those foods you took comfort in to try to give you a sense of that value. And you're like, oh, it's just a piece of candy. And you can have one, you can enjoy it, but you're like, it's literally just candy at this point.
It will always be there.
Yeah, it's always going to be there.
says that helps me a lot.
Yeah,
it's always going
to
be there.
Same.
And I can have it.
Yeah.
I just not in great quantities and not as often as I was.
Yeah.
And I've never once, this is with every one of our clients, and I know you do the same. We never once said, hey, you should never. Anytime that someone says that on social media, or if you have a coach that tells you, hey, you should never consume blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
or whatever that could be.
You're following anyone on social media. You should never eat fruit again, and this is why, or here's why you should never eat lettuce, or
it could be
like whatever ridiculous claim they're making.
It could be food, it could be alcohol, it could be whatever. We never say that because we know the moment we do that, it creates such a bad relationship with that types of food, whatever that may be. But because I didn't force you to not do it, you understand the value of it. Oh, you know, I'm gonna have this. I'm gonna have this candy once in a while. It'll be fine.
Yeah, you did what I'm trying to do with my kids. You showed me that if you want to be slim, you have to eat less of that.
That's something you can't have it forever. Or sometimes, you know, we get clients' blood work back and we're like, hey, for now, we do need to avoid this just until your body is in a better spot. And then when everything looks good, okay, have it again. But like with Halloween coming up, I've already told clients, like, look, Halloween's coming up. Y'all are getting prepared for it already. The bags of candy are out, the decorations are out, all these things. It's like when Halloween comes around, if there's a piece of candy you want, just eat it. You'll be fine. Just don't sit there in between knocks on the door eating the candy.
Mindlessly eating.
Yes, because then you're going to look and be like, I just had 20 Reese's peanut butter cups. Like, it does sound great.
It sounds great.
Yeah.
Now that we know your journey, thank you for being on to express your journey and why you get started and what was your life before Unfinished Lifestyle. Now that we get to the point where, you know, we increasing muscle mass now, increasing body fat, and that's your goal. Our goal is to start going to the gym. What is your advice? Right? We're gonna finish that with advice. What is your advice for the people that are in that same age, or in the 50s, or even 60s or above, or even 40s? What is your advice for those people that think that they can't change, that think that they can't lose weight, and they think that it's too late to make changes?
Well, I already kind of shared one of the pieces of advice that I really wanted to, as far as realizing that your body has the potential right now to become that healthy version of yourself, you know, and loving yourself the way and where you're at, and then taking responsibility for you got yourself there. So the responsibility and honesty, I think, is so important. One of the biggest things that helped me, though, in the beginning was I just had an unshaken faith and focus that this was happening. I was going to make it work. So if you have the other component that I talked about in place, and then you have to decide that that is what you want, that's number one, and you have to move forward like you're getting it.
Yep.
No matter what it seems like, you know, like if you're sick that day or you you ate a cookie, you can never let go of the focus and the faith that you're going to get there.
Wow. I
in
love
your
that.
goal. So because that's what helped me to keep going, kind of a thing. And I also like to think of it as I'm practicing healthy habits rather than I'm getting to a certain weight, because, you know, then if the weight thing doesn't work out one day or week or whatever, it's okay. Yeah. I'm still acting like a healthy person, right?
Well, and
I'm
like you had said earlier,
I'm being the person, I'm practicing being the person and thinking like the person who would be slim, fit, and healthy.
Yeah. Well, just like you said earlier, when you get to the weight that you're at now, you might not necessarily be happy. So don't put value in the number.
Yep. The value is in yourself and your potential to do whatever it is you want to do.
Great advice, Carol. Before we wrap it up, one more question.
Okay.
Within your families or within your community out there, did you feel like you inspired a lot of people to make the change?
Oh, that is so funny, because a lot of people, it's so funny. Some people would say something and I would hear about a lot of other people that said things, but I have not actually heard all that much from people, not as much as I heard other people were saying.
So through the grapevine, they're saying Carol's doing amazing, but they've never approached you and said it.
Yeah,
indirectly.
They did not approach me.
Yeah.
Especially the women. The men were much more likely to say, "Ooh, you're looking good."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm okay with that. Because one of the things I had to learn to accept is my womanhood, my femininity, and my sexuality. You know, that it's okay. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
No, it is.
Because I remember
I was
you were
hiding
telling
from
me, I remember you were telling me there's a lot of people who were talking about you, not directly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
they
lot of it
don't
is-
talk directly to me.
Yeah,
They
and
talk
you just hear it from
about
other
me.
people.
Yes.
Yeah, and that in a way you inspire a lot of people too. You know what I mean? Because I think it's so crazy when people talk about, oh, it's too late,
Yeah, I'm too old for this.
It's
I can't
too
do
old
that.
for
But
this.
that's
Are
too
you?
much money.
or it's too, yeah. I don't want to
I
go
have
into
a lady
that.
that said that. That's too much money. And I'm like, I'm sure you'll find a way then.
Yep.
You know what's too much money is the emergency room bill you're going to get.
Yes.
Even with insurance, that's still a lot of money.
Uh-huh.
The ambulance bill you're going to have to take. The
agree.
prescription medications you're going to go get.
I agree.
So-
All right, guys. Well, thank you for being on. Carol, you inspire a lot of our clients. A lot of our
Everyone
clients.
loves you.
Everyone.
Everyone loves you. On the
Oh my
community call, oh
gosh.
my God, everyone loves when you're on the call. We
did
love
not
when you're on
know
the
that,
call.
'cause
Yeah.
I don't say
Yeah.
that much. I don't feel like.
Yeah, no,
so-
people see your transformation. They comment on it all the time. They tell me anytime I film you and Shannon working out, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, Carol looks amazing."
Yeah.
And we see that, and that inspires so many different people to do or try to achieve the same thing as you. And the fact that you're on now, that you're sharing your journey, allowing this to be vulnerable and just have the space for yourself, I think that could be really helpful, impactful for a lot of people that are listening to this right now, especially if you guys have parents that are in the same age. Share this podcast with them.
Yeah.
Tell them that it's not too late. So
It's not, but it's harder than the kids think to get started, right?
yeah,
It is harder than they think, and you just have to start little bit by little bit and stay focused and determined.
1% better every day.
The infamous line, I'll worry about it later.
Yeah. Oh, later doesn't look good. I'm sitting in that with my mom and my dad. They're older now, so
Yeah.
I would like to be more mobile than that when I get older.
Absolutely.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. Thank you for being on our podcast on episode 24. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sharing all of our reels,
Yep.
sharing our YouTube,
All
sharing
the awesome messages we get about the podcast.
Yes,
We get a
and-
lot of good feedback.
Yep, and Spotify and things like that. So thank you again for sharing all of our stuff on social media. Again, can help so many people around the world. If Carol can do it, you can do it too.
That is so true.
All right, guys, thank you, and we'll see you on the next episode.